Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Recruiter Pitch Day. I'm Emily Calandranis, the Director of Development and Partnerships for Cyber Skyline, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all. We're so excited to have such amazing presenters, and we really appreciate your time to have you network and get to know more of the NCL community. Today, we are joined by 5 awesome organizations. Some of them you may be familiar with, and some of them might be new to you. The point of this whole event is for you to learn about different organizations, have touch points to continue to learn more, and once again, to be able to interact with those of the NCL community. Today, we have Melanie Sam from CrowdStrike. We have Melissa Schwartz from ISACA, Eddie Mullins from the Department of Energy, Bella Ayala from Tanium, and Katie Boudreau from MasterCard. Each company is going to have about 8 minutes to present, and there will be representatives who are going to share about info and answering questions, all in the chat. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. Please be respectful and kind to presenters and attendees. You are part of the NCL community, so just make sure what you're sharing is appropriate. But please say where you're from, if you have any comments, if you have any questions. We'd love for you to be interactive with our presenters as well as with our staff. And at the end of the event, we are going to have a handful of questions selected for live Q&A. So if you hear us asking your question live, feel free to add any extra info or any other questions in the chat as we go along as well. We do have a post-event experience survey that's going to be going out in a few days. That's going to allow you to share about the experience, ways that we can improve it, and of course, any testimonials or any comments you have about the event. So we're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment with our first presenter. And we're going to go ahead and bring on Melanie from CrowdStrike. Melanie, I'm going to go ahead and get you all set to go. And Melanie, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. And also, hello to the NCL community. I'm seeing all of your chat messages come through. Love to see the engagement here. As Emily mentioned, my name is Melanie. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the recruiters here, or excuse me, university recruiters here at CrowdStrike. And I'm super excited to be here. Emily, if it's all right, yes, perfect. We can hop into the next slide here. For those of y'all who have attended one of our recruiting events before, or if you were here for our fall recruiter pitch day, this is going to look really familiar. But for those of y'all who are new to this, I would appreciate it if you could scan this QR code. I will also pop the link in the chat in case that's easier for folks. This is going to be a great way for us to be able to stay in touch with you after this event. We will be sending you a follow-up email with the resources that I mentioned in this presentation. And my team will also be able to stay connected with you through our talent community monthly newsletters. And you will also receive an email from us, which is a real email address. So that's also a great way to ask any questions that you may have down the line. But again, the link is in the chat. Feel free to fill it out throughout the presentation. But just for the sake of time, because I know we only got 8 minutes here, Emily, if it's all right, we can move into the agenda. So we are going to first start off by sharing a little bit of information about CrowdStrike before heading into an internship overview. And then we will leave some time at the end for some Q&A. So with that being said, a little bit about CrowdStrike here. I know this is NCL. You all are very in tune with the cybersecurity community. But in case if you aren't as familiar with CrowdStrike and what we do here, fun fact, we were actually founded in 2011. And we were founded because our founders recognized that a lot of the current attacks here could not be solved with malware-based defenses. And so they spun up CrowdStrike to be able to pair cloud-native endpoint protection with expert intelligence to stop breaches. And also fun little tidbit for you all, we actually started off with our intelligence reporting even before we had our endpoint protection, our Falcon platform spun up. So little fun tidbit for you all. But here we are in the present day. We are currently over 10,000 CrowdStrikers strong across 25 global offices. So I like to say that pretty much anywhere you go, you'll probably be able to find a CrowdStriker. So with that being said, we'll hop into the next slide here so you have a better idea of what our focus here is at CrowdStrike. We've boiled it down to 4 different pillars here. First, we have our endpoint protection platform, which is our Falcon platform. It's something that our product and engineering team build up and we ship it out to our customers. We also have here our incident response and strategic advisory services. This is part of our consulting arm here at CrowdStrike, where we are able to support our customers who, for example, if they have experienced a breach, we're able to support them, do some forensics for them, or if they want to be more on the proactive side and make sure that they have a really great plan set ahead in case if anything happens, we are able to support them there. And then lastly, here in our third and fourth bucket, we have a really strong threat intelligence and managed hunting teams, where we are able to look at a lot of trends that we're seeing, reviewing a lot of data to be able to stay ahead of the curve, do a lot of research, and be able to provide those insights to our customers. And of course, feed it back to our platform here. So lots of different things going on here at CrowdStrike. But with that being said, I'd be remiss to not talk about our core values. We have 3 different core values here: being fanatical about the customer, the idea of relentless focus on innovation, and lastly here, which is my favorite one, it's limitless passion creates unlimited potential. And I love sharing these core values during recruiting events like this, because hopefully you are able to see a little bit more about how these core values shine through here at CrowdStrike. But it's also core values that we look for in our applicants during the interview process. And of course, once we are onboarding folks, we want to make sure that these core values are able to be seen through our CrowdStrike community. So as you hear about our intern presentation and hear about potentially some of the things that we're doing here at CrowdStrike, hopefully you'll be able to spot these core values in all that we do. But moving ahead, hopefully this sparks some interest in our internship program, which I included a little fun photo of our last year's cohort here. Heading into the next slide, we can see a little bit more information about our intern program highlights. I know this is a lot of words on one page, so we'll be able to go through and summarize it all for you all. But yes, to answer a few questions here, we are currently hiring, which is exciting. We have a handful of internship opportunities posted on our careers page. I also did want to caveat this. I know there might be a few folks here looking for some full-time opportunities. You can also find those on our careers page. I will say I primarily recruit for interns, so I'm not as familiar with what the roles look like on the full-time end, but I will always say my rule of thumb is if you see a role that you're interested in, feel free to go ahead and apply. But with that being said, going back to our internship program here, it is an 8 to 12 week long experience. It's 12 weeks long for all of our programs except for sales. They run on an 8 week long program. And we also do have a special program for our sophomores here. So if there are any sophomores in the audience today, if you see any roles with launch in the title, that is going to be specifically for you, because with this, you'll have lots of opportunities to still work on the similar projects and experiences as our traditional interns, but it will also include a specific learning and development track to help you grow and also build up that professional development toolkit. But regardless of what team you're on, how long you're going to be here for, all of our interns are going to be assigned mentors and have an opportunity to work on impactful projects while participating in a lot of really fun intern events that we have going on. I also wanted to share a few fun perks that we have here for our interns. Since it is a paid internship, we also do have paid holidays, which includes a birthday holiday, which is super exciting. And our interns can also opt into our 401k program. They'll get lots of really fun swag. They'll have access to our variety of well-being platforms and initiatives. That way we're able to take care of the full person here. But this is our internship program in a nutshell. Hopping into the next slide here, we can share a little bit more information about what the process looks like. Again, for all of our roles, it starts off with the application, and you can find our roles on our careers page, on LinkedIn, Handshake, wherever you find your jobs, you're probably able to find it there. And for any of our technical positions, they will go through a technical assessment before moving into the interview stage. But for any of our non-technical roles, it'll go straight into the interviews, which will look like a recruiter phone screen and up to 2 rounds of interviews with the hiring team. And from start to finish, I would estimate it takes probably no more than 2 months. So that is the timeline that we're working with here. But all in all, I know we're getting close on time here, so I want to end here with ways to stay in touch. Again, I recommend that you all check out our careers page to see our open roles. Again, if you see a role that you're interested in, feel free to go ahead and apply. And I'm also going to drop the link here again to join our talent community. That way we're able to stay in touch with you and we'll know that you attend this event. And then lastly here, if you have any questions, feel free to email my team at university.recruiting@crowdstrike.com. It will be routed to the recruiter who is able to answer your question best. But with that being said, we'll hop into next slide. I know we have maybe 30 seconds for questions here. Got a question here from Corey that I'll answer really quickly before hopping off. Some of the most important technical abilities you look for in interns, I would say it does depend on the role. So I recommend checking out the tech stack that we list in our job descriptions. For those of y'all interested in more of the software side, Python and Go are bread and butter here. For those of y'all more so looking on the SOC or incident response side, cloud-based technologies are going to be really important here. So definitely recommend that, as well as Linux and Windows. So that is my take here. I'm going to hand the mic back to Emily, but I'll still be popping in the chat to answer some of your questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Melanie. And we have some great questions in the chat. If you have any other questions for Melanie, she's going to be able to now pop in and answer them as she goes along. And we are now going to be transitioning to ISACA. We're going to have Melissa join us. And a little bit of interesting fact about ISACA. So ISACA is actually going to be sharing about student scholarships. So while they are not necessarily hiring for ISACA, this is a great way to get some financial assistance for your cyber education. So take notes, be very vigilant in making sure that you're keeping ISACA in mind for scholarships that they have throughout the year and other student membership options. And we're so excited to have you, Melissa. Thank you so very much for sharing. And when you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much for having me. As Emily mentioned, yes, I am here from ISACA, a little bit of a different organization than perhaps our other recruiters. And I also have a couple of QR codes for you just at the end of the presentation. One is to that scholarship webpage, which I know you all are looking for financial assistance and continue your education. And then also I've got a promotion for you to join us as student members if you're interested in that as well. So with that, Emily, if you could hop to the next slide, please. Give you a little bit of background information on what ISACA is. We are a global membership association. We're here to empower our members throughout their careers by providing comprehensive knowledge, skills, credentials, and access to our global community. Our goal is to help you ensure that you are prepared to meet today's challenges and as our next generation of practitioners drive tomorrow's innovations. We have 185,000 members in 228 chapters around the world. They serve as information systems, audit, security professionals, consultants, internal auditors, up to our C-suite. So we range from entry level and career changers up all the way into our top level leaders. Emily, next slide, please. Thank you. Not only are we a professional community, but we are a community with a purpose. We are here to not only serve as to have a positive impact on the technology professions we serve, but our community outreach is also really important to us. For example, these are 3 passion projects of my own, and I hope that you are inspired by them as well. First of all, our She Leads Tech program seeks to empower women to enter and advance into the technology space. We offer education, community, local events, and a global online discussion platform to help support each other in navigating some unique gender differences throughout the tech space. The ISACA Foundation seeks to give underrepresented people the chance to enter the workforce and achieve leadership positions. As Emily mentioned, our scholarship program is run through the ISACA Foundation. We also have a digital trust workforce inclusion program. Both offer financial support as well as training opportunities. We're really excited that we've surpassed over $1 million to more than 500 scholarship recipients. So that was a really big celebration success for our foundation in the last year. We host 2 application cycles. The first one just opened yesterday and applications close May 6th. So spoiler alert, this is one of the QR codes I mentioned at the end so that you can get a direct link to our scholarship applications. The other thing on the slide is Community Day. This is an annual global day of service where our members collectively volunteer thousands of hours over the course of one day, the first Saturday in October, doing any kind of community outreach. It's really inspiring that together, even apart and around the world, we can get together and change the world and have fun doing it. And lastly, we do a lot of advocacy work, meeting with decision makers on Capitol Hill and other EU, UK agencies. We respond to a lot of consultations, and we help influence policies that protect us and keep our data safe. So we're kind of hitting every part of the technology industry. Next slide, please. But mostly, we are here to support your success. So we offer a variety of benefits. I'll touch on a few of these really briefly, but then of course there's lots more information online. Our knowledge and resources, you can access things like podcasts, templates, frameworks, white papers, even jumping over to our publications area. Our journal is available online or in print, blogs, anything like that. We are here to make sure that you stay informed about the latest trends in technology. Our credentials are really something that we are known for. So you can add certificates, you can earn certificates and add them to your resume now, even before you get that professional experience, to help build your resume for these recruiters that you're going to be hearing from later on. And then as you grow in your career, then you'll elevate your professional credentials with an ISACA certification. I will mention that certifications do have a very positive impact on total compensation. So something to keep in mind as you advance in your career. We're working on a new career pathways tool, which we hope to roll out probably later this year or maybe early next year. It's going to help identify the skills, experiences, and credentials for each step along your professional path. So our idea is to be able to show you not only how to break into the job market, but what opportunities you may not even have known existed within this industry. Members receive access to our exclusive one-to-one mentorship program where you'll set goals and work with a partner to achieve those goals. You can get involved in our online communities, join the conversations online, ask questions, share your own experiences. We have professional development community, we have a She Leads Tech community, and then we have a lot of technical domain-based communities, depending on what your interests are. Leadership and training, we offer leadership skills, power skills, as well as technical development, whether you are interested in our member exclusive leadership series, which we just had Adam Grant host recently, or our She Leads Tech series. Those can help you cultivate they call them soft skills or power skills in communication and management, in addition to the technical skills that you'll need to be successful in your career. ISACA is all about networking. I've talked about how big of an organization we are, but we are all about not only opening doors for others, but feeling empowered to walk through the doors that have been opened for you. So I'm getting involved in your chapters, attending events virtually or online offer great networking opportunities for you. And of course, our Career Center. We do host a job board where you can search open opportunities, as well as post your resume to be searched by recruiters like the ones here today. And of course, our Career Catalyst Stories. This is a new series that we've launched. They're individual stories that can help you envision opportunities and options that you may not have known existed, as well as provide some pitfalls and some opportunities that you might be interested in seeking out. Next slide, please. But as a student member, there are some benefits that I want to call out specifically for you so that we can help you achieve your professional goals. We have 175 175 universities that host ISACA student groups, providing networking, leadership, and just some fun on campus. I've mentioned our scholarships, which I'll get to that QR code in just a moment. But I do want to mention we have 8 scholarship applications that are open until May 6th. And then the next cycle will be run in September. We're really excited for a new CISA Associate designation. Most of our certifications do require 5 years of professional experience after you pass an exam. This is allowing you to take that exam and then get this as an associate designation until you earn that that professional experience to get the actual certification. So it's going to be an opportunity for you to boost your resume, and then also describe to recruiters that how you are interested in building that pathway to the certification. The only thing you'll need to do to maintain that designation for up to 4 years is to maintain membership. So it's pretty easy. Once you earn it, it's pretty easy to maintain it. And then in November, we are hosting our first ISACA Student Summit. It'll be a virtual event free to members, including introductions and career options, thought leadership, and more. Next slide, please. So here we go. If everyone will please take out their phones, take a picture of this slide, first of all, because that MEM ISACA-NCL 20 code, that is what you can enter when you join ISACA as a student member. It's going to reduce your membership dues by $20, which means it's only $5 to join ISACA through May 31st as a student. So take note of that code, and then that QR code will go directly to our join page so that you can learn more. And then the QR code on the right goes directly to the Foundation Scholarship webpage so that you can apply and hopefully earn some more money towards continuing your education. And my contact information is at the bottom of the slide, but feel free to reach out to me or reach us online at isaca.org. And our support center is also really happy to help navigate student membership or any of the benefits that ISACA offers. But I hope to be able to welcome many of you into our global community anytime soon. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Melissa. And once again, if you have any questions about ISACA or specifically about the things that Melissa was sharing, please go ahead and feel free to put them in the comments. These are some really great opportunities, and this is cyclical in nature as well. So as Melissa had mentioned, there are certain times of the year that different scholarships or opportunities or events are happening. So make sure that's part of your arsenal of the things that you're doing in your cyber community. So thank you again, Melissa. All right, now we are going to transition to our next presenter, and we are going to invite Eddie Mullins on stage. He is from the Department of Energy. Thanks so much for joining us, Eddie.
Thank you for having me with everyone today, and thank you everyone for participating. So yes, my name is Eddie Mullins. I work for the Department of Energy, but I'm actually employed by the Argonne National Laboratory. One of my larger projects is for the DOE, so you'll see that I'll talk a little bit about the National Laboratory space as well as the Department of Energy space. Next slide, please. So when it comes to DOE, one of the biggest things that I'm involved heavily is the internship program. So DOE currently has 2 internship programs. It's the Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internship, the SULI program, and the Omni Technology Internship program. So they're both paid internships, and you can apply for both internships simultaneously. One of the things that's unique about the internship programs is that when you apply to them, you get the capability to work under DOE itself, but you also get added to a pool of internship students that can also be recruited by all the national laboratories. So one of the things that I am involved in my program is I actively am currently looking at the site, and I am recruiting students from both the SULI and the Omni program to come internship with me at Argonne National Lab. Both internships, they've just closed the registration now, but they will be open for next year. So, and you can apply as early as soon as it opens, which usually, depending on the timing for them, they'll open usually around the August, October time. They're about 10 to 16 weeks. And what's unique about them is that not only are they specialized in the cybersecurity space, but they're also in the soft skills. What I mean by that is that if you don't have a technical background, you can still participate in the internships and it depends if you go into like policy or project management. So like I recruit a lot of students under the project management side. That's the space that I'm in, that are involved in cybersecurity. Next slide, please. Another thing with DOE is that DOE is constantly in a hiring cycle. So one of the things that DOE puts together is that every year they put together 2 career fairs similar to what you're participating today. And the career fairs are split into the collegiate space, which is for anyone who's under 2 years of experience in the workforce. And then it's split into also the professional space, which is usually anybody who's like actually in the workspace itself and looking to transition into other spaces. If I put those 2 together, so if anybody has any questions or anybody has any comments on it, feel free to email me and I can help you out with those. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to talk about Argonne National Laboratory, which is the actual lab in which I'm in, which is located in Chicago. Next slide. So Argonne National Laboratory is the first national laboratory, so I like to hold that over all the other national laboratories. We're the best. Our history really started with the Manhattan Project, if some of you have heard about it, which originally was under the University of Chicago. And that's where a lot of the nuclear technology was developed. In the first, everybody knows about like the atomic bombs and all the research that was done under the University of Chicago. So Argonne was one of the first laboratories that actually played a key role into that research itself. Argonne we are not I'll call them military sites. We're actually a soft site. So we focus more on the core soft sciences, physics, chemistry, mathematics, those kind of things. Next slide, please. So when it comes to the national laboratories, there's actually quite a lot of national laboratories. As you can see on the map, we're kind of pretty much spread out all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. So one of the unique things about working in the national laboratory space is that because all of the national laboratories fall under the DOE umbrella, we're all in a way interconnected. For example, if you're over at Jefferson Lab and for some reason you want to relocate to the Chicago area, you can easily transfer over to Argonne National Laboratory because you're already integrated into the laboratory culture. And a lot of the times when, for example, like myself in the Argonne space, I actually get the capability to go work for DOE for a short span of time and then return back to my laboratory. That's one of the benefits that we have is the capability to kind of work anywhere and in the United States. Currently in the laboratory space, most of the jobs are pseudo hybrid now. We're starting to slowly transition into work from the lab space, but they offer a lot of relocations. I actually was working for a while in Florida and then transitioned out to Illinois and started working at Argonne. Next slide, please. So at Argonne itself, we do have a lot of full-time opportunities for both professional and students. We also, the lab itself, each national lab outside of the DOE space also has their own internship programs as well. A lot of the internship programs are for undergrads and for graduate programs. And we have everything from full-time, postdoctoral to facility programs. One of the things about the laboratories and stuff is we're pretty big sites. Argonne itself is about 10 miles. We usually have about 7,500 employees. So we have possibly every job you can imagine. And one of the kind of unique things about the lab space is, for example, myself, when I came to Argonne, I came under the physical security space. I left law enforcement and I was working under dignitary protection at the National Laboratory. I would have never in my life imagined I would be over in the cyberspace, but through my exposure to cyber while working at the lab, I was able to get an internship while working at the lab doing project management, and I happened to land in the cyberspace. And a couple of years later, I ended up applying for a cyber project management position. And here I am. Never in my life did I think I would be in cyber, and I'm slowly starting to learn it now. So that's one of the unique things about the laboratories is that there is just such a vast number of positions in any realm, whether it's technical and whether it's soft skills like policy, that can transition around. So where you'll start may not be where you end up. Next slide, please. So I wanted to kind of give you a reference point so you could see. So like when you go on the Argonne National Laboratory, if you type in Argonne National Laboratory and just look at jobs, you'll get this site. This site is very similar to a lot of the other national laboratories, and it allows you to be able to search specifically for what opportunities you're looking for. and not have to just like cycle through all of the jobs that they have there. So you're actually able to filter down specifically what it is that you're interested in applying for. Next slide, please. I think that might be my last.
That is your last slide, Eddie.
I thought so.
But I'll
Yeah.
let you wrap up, but I'll just want to let you know that's your last slide.
Yeah. So as I said, if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I have a unique, I got into cyber from a unique path. So I'm always looking for interns, and especially on the soft skills. I find them to be just as important as the hard skills. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for having me with you today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Eddie. And of course, if you have questions for Eddie, go ahead and put them in the chat. We have some lively questions and really great and fast answers from our presenters. So thank you so much for being on top of those. We had a few questions, general questions. I want to make sure that everyone knows that this is being recorded. So if you have to leave, no problem. We're going to be sending out the recording in the next few days. It also will be available on the YouTube channel, and also it will be a recorded event on LinkedIn. So if you can't stay, or if you came in a little bit later, no problem. We got you covered and you'll be able to review the content. We will also make sure that you have a list of all the links that are being shared. So we do compile the email addresses, the QR codes, the links that are being shared from the presenters. I go ahead and I personally create a document and we add that to the recording. So we'll make sure you have all the information in case you missed it as people are talking, or you're just engaged with them presenting, which is always a great thing. Alrighty, so now we are going to mosey into Tanium land. We're going to bring Bella up on stage, and we are going to hear about all the awesome opportunities that Tanium has to offer. So Bella, when you're ready, take it away.
Thanks, Emily. And hey, everyone. I'm delighted to be here, excited to talk to you a little bit about Tanium and how we provide the power of certainty to our customers. So we can move into the next slide, please. So let me set the stage before I tell you what Tanium does. In today's world, there's an explosion of endpoints. And your first question might be, well, Bella, what do you mean by an endpoint? So I'll define it first. Endpoint is going to be basically like any device that could be hacked. So as I'm looking around me right now, I see my cell phone, I see my laptop. Those would all be endpoints for the purpose of this discussion. And in the past 10, 20 years, there's been an explosion of endpoints for a few reasons that you all might be able to guess. One, there's more devices per person than ever before, right? Back in the day, you had your desktop, that was it. Now you've maybe got a desktop, you've got a laptop, maybe you have two phones, a work phone and a personal phone. There's just more devices per person than before. And the second reason there's an explosion is because they're more spread out than they were before. Again, back in the day, you walked into the office, you did your work at your computer, and then you left the computer there and you went home. But now you're lugging your laptop back and forth, your phone is with you at all times. There's just more devices than ever. They're more spread out, which means they're going to be more vulnerable to attacks, right? So that's where Tanium comes in, and we can go to the next slide. I'm just going to kind of reiterate what's on this slide. You cannot protect what you cannot see, right? So 94%, that's like most enterprises, are missing up to 20% of their endpoints when they try to count them. That means if I were to go to a CEO of a Fortune 100 company, let's say just for a total example, like the bank that you use, if I were to go to the CEO of the bank that you use and say, how many endpoints do you guys have under management? They often, most of the time, are going to give you an answer that's like, I think somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 endpoints, which is wild, right? Like if you don't even know if you have 2,000 endpoints, how can they possibly be secure? So the first thing that you need before you do anything else is just the ability to see what you've got going on. And we can go to the next slide. So this is where Tanium comes in. Our vision, super simply put, is to provide certainty in uncertain times. We believe organizations should be able to know how many devices they have under management, full stop, as a baseline in their efforts. And then on top of that, we believe they should be able to action on those endpoints and remediate any issues that they see. And something that I'll point out in here, there's a word that's repeated a couple times that's super important. Companies need to be able to do this in real time. They cannot be looking at data that's like days or weeks or even hours old. They need to be able to see that data in real time. Only Tanium can do that at our speed and scale. No other competitor comes close. And we can head to the next slide. So that's kind of the baseline of what we do at Tanium. That's our secret sauce that makes us special. But on top of that, we've got a ton of other modules that we've created and offer that are basically like pre-packaged solutions to accomplish things like compliance or responding to an incident when they happen. And those are all super interesting and great, but what I mostly want to talk about on this slide is the buzzword for the past few years, which is, of course, AI. Last year, we launched Autonomous Endpoint Management, which is the real-time platform for AI to deliver autonomous solutions. And that was like maybe a little bit of a mouthful. So let me give you an example of like what that means and why Tanium as a technology and AI complement each other so well. So let's say you're in a car driven by AI, and you're hoping that this car can take you from point A to point B. Your journey is only going to be as good as the data that AI is working on, right? If it has old data or not the right data, you might get stuck in traffic that the AI didn't see. You might go down a road that's actually closed. You might almost hit a pedestrian that was jaywalking. It's really, the experience is only as valuable and is totally dependent on the data that is feeding the AI. So hopefully you remember on the last slide that I said what Tanium is so amazing at doing is giving you that real-time at scale data. We provide that real-time data. So if you want to use AI to manage and secure your IT operations, your IT environment, you can't even start to think about automating those processes with AI until you know you have real-time data. And that's what Tanium provides. So we can go to the next slide. Every recruiter, of course, is going to talk to you about their mission and their vision and say it's important, and they're all important. But I think really our customers speak for themselves, right? Got over 34 million enterprise endpoints under management. We're talking about 8 out of 10 of the top United States financial institutions. These are really important organizations, right? Organizations that make up like the backbone of our global economy and society. If we just look at the financial institution one, odds are the bank that you trust to store your money trusts Tanium to protect and secure their endpoint environments. So I think that's pretty cool. And we can head to the next slide. Hopefully you're feeling excited. You're saying, wow, this company sounds so cool. How can I join? So I want to talk to you about some opportunities we've got. We do hire for interns every single year, every single summer. This year, we're going to have over 65 interns joining us globally, but I'm actually not here to talk to you about that today because we've filled all of our summer 2025 intern openings. That's not to say that next year, maybe you could intern with us the following summer, right? Summer 2026. But today, what I'm mostly here to talk to you about is some openings that we know are coming up in our support center for an associate support technical account management. This is not an internship. This is only for folks who have already graduated. And let me tell you a little bit about what we're looking for. So our support center is basically the first line of support given when a customer calls in and needs some help with our technology. It's going to require a good technical aptitude. We'll train you up on our technology, but in order to be trainable, you're going to need some technical background. It's going to also require a good like customer service mentality, great collaboration skills. So here's just some quick hitting things. This position is based in Addison, Texas, which is in the Dallas, Texas area. It is hybrid, which means 3 days a week, you're in the office, 2 days a week, you can work remote, or you can come in if you'd like. We are only looking for folks that are authorized to work in the US. You'll need to have an associate's or a bachelor's in a related technical field. So you can see some examples here, right? Computer networking, information science, cybersecurity, computer science. We're looking for 1 to 3 years of experience in your career field, which could be, again, in a related technical field. And above all, we're looking for a passion about technology and a willingness to learn. You can scan this QR code if you're interested in submitting a general application, and we'll get in touch if there's a good fit as soon as those roles are open. And we can go to the next slide. Here's a little bit about what we offer. So we've got a really good compensation package and an RSU package. We offer RSUs to every single full-time employee that works at Tanium. RSUs are basically stock because we believe every employee is an owner of our company, right? We've got great benefits packages, 401k matching, a great training and mentorship and coaching program. You'll get to work on really, really impactful projects contributing towards a strategic, critical mission. I mentioned that hybrid work schedule where 3 days a week you're going to be in office, 2 days a week you're remote, or you can come in if you prefer. We've got uncapped PTO. We offer 5 days volunteer time off. There's a lot of great stuff, some stuff I didn't even mention here, but that's just to give you kind of an idea. And then I think this slide is my last slide. Here's how to stay in touch. Here's the QR code again. I'll drop the link into the chat right now as well. This, again, is just going to be for a general application to Tanium. This Associate Support Technical Account Manager roles, they're not open yet, but if you're interested, submit a general application. We'll be in touch with you when those roles get open. And yeah, I saw that there were some questions that popped in. I'm going to pop into the chat and do my best to answer those right now, but I will pass it over to Emily for our last speaker. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bella. And if you have questions for Bella or about Tanium, go ahead and put them in the chat. Just a little housekeeping. Make sure the comments are appropriate and nice. We're doing pretty good, but just in case you see anything, let us know. It's always an eventful webinar situation, but just make sure if there's any comments that we need to be aware of, just bubble it up to us and we'll make sure we take care of those. Once again, go ahead and grab that QR code for Tanium, and Bella is now live in the chat. And we will now transition. Last but certainly not least, we are going to move now into MasterCard territory. I'm going to go ahead and bring Katie on, and we also have a nice treat. So part of Katie's presentation is going to be a little bit of a video. So as soon as Katie starts, I'm going to go ahead and transition to that video whenever you're ready. So let me go ahead and pop you on the screen with your slides, and away you go. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks so much, Emily. Really quick introduction of myself. My name's Katie Boudreau, and I'm the director of the Cyber Talent Program at MasterCard. I've been with MasterCard for over 13 years, and more than 10 of those within cybersecurity, including cloud security and as a security architect. So when it comes to cybersecurity at MasterCard, I sort of know what I'm talking about. So before I dive into everything, I want to ask, who knows what MasterCard is? Who MasterCard is? Throw some comments in the chat. Let me know. Okay, maybe it's just me. I'm not seeing any comments, so nobody wants to answer. That's fine. But we are a global tech company who just happens to be in the payments domain. We provide a network that banks and financial institutions utilize for the authorization of payments. So we are a tech company. We're just in the financial domain. So Emily, I would say now would be a good time to hop over to my brief video, if you don't mind.
When I think of a hacker or the adversary comes in many different forms. It can be a nation state government. It could be my next door neighbor. It could be anyone who's trying to use my information for their own use and not for my use, the use that I intended.
So part of my work at MasterCard is helping defend against all of the attacks that come against our network every day. Cybersecurity is important because MasterCard handled over 150 million events last year alone. And it's all of our job to keep the cyber ecosystem and environment safe.
So Cyber and Intelligence Solutions is the group that's putting together platforms and solutions to protect the edges of our network and also the core of our network.
My fascination with forensics started when I read the Nancy Drew books and the Hardy Boys books as a kid. And a lot of what I do now is a lot like that.
Well, the future of digital currency is trust. What I do at MasterCard is make sure that our ecosystem is safe and worthy of that trust. that the consumer can have confidence in our networks to make sure that their identity, their transactions, and their funds are safe.
We use machine learning models, we use AI, we use things like blockchain, we use biometrics to make sure that you have a safe payment experience every single time.
We have a global worldwide presence, and that's important because our customers are worldwide.
Having different voices at the table is the best way to make sure that you have a solution that is comprehensive, effective, and sustainable.
Adversary comes in many different forms.
I'm going to get you back on track, Katie. I'm going to go ahead and put your slide back up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and jump in while that slide is coming up. So like we said, we're a global tech company. Our main focus is a world beyond cash. And we really want to make sure that we are innovating with a moral code. And that might be novel for some, but it's just something that we do, and a big part of it that is within our MasterCard way, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. But if we could move on to the next slide, please. So this slide, what this slide is sharing with you is some of the locations where we are. We have a very large presence. We're in almost every continent. We're in more than 82 countries, which I think has already increased since I put together this slide. More than 130 office locations, more than 21,000 employees across the globe. So within corporate security, we ourselves have 5 major tech hubs. We are in St. Louis, Missouri, which is where I'm located. We are also in Purchase, New York City, Arlington, Virginia, Dublin, Ireland, Pune, India, and actually I think I forgot one, which is Sydney, Australia. So we really are across the globe. Plus we have our regional security officers who are located in a lot of those other 100 plus offices. So we have folks almost everywhere within corporate security supporting us. So let's go ahead and jump onto the next slide and talk a little bit about the MasterCard Way. Within the MasterCard Way, this is something to help build our culture. So as we talk about our culture, we want to make sure, like I said, we innovate with a moral code and do the right thing with decency, inclusion, and as a force for good. We do that by creating value, growing together, and moving fast. Trust, partnership, and agility and initiative are key characteristics encouraged by every employee. So now that you have a better idea of what we do, this is exactly how we do it and how that's even more important. At the foundation of it all is our decency quotient. Our philosophy of decency is doing right by others as we do business both internally and externally. It gives us that competitive edge. Our next slide will go more into corporate security itself, which is the organization in which I fall, and the majority, but not all, of our cybersecurity roles fall. So on the screen, you'll see 9 different roles in different areas that we have employees within cybersecurity. While we're on this slide, you could take a minute to look over those. I'll share that we also have an internship program and our launch program, which is our college hire program. Our launch program is an 18-month program. So in August, we will be hiring launchers who will join us in August of 2026. So as long as they graduate in May of 2026, they would be joining us in August of 2026. If they happen to graduate in December of 2025, they would be joining us in February of 2026. Now, this 18-month program, you are a full-time employee. Hard stop, you are an employee. But that 18-month program, you get some added benefits, and that includes additional mentorship above and beyond what you already receive. You have master classes, you have opportunities to speak at all hands meetings, You have opportunities to sit down with our CISO and many others of our executive management, and so much more. Our internships, they're 10 weeks in the summer in the US. We hire for those in September and October. So unfortunately, you are too late to apply for the summer 2025 roles. But in September, October, take a look and see if there's something that you're interested in for 2026. Now, those internships as well, you receive additional mentorship. You attend master classes. You get a chance to speak at an all hands meeting. You get to sit down with our CISO, and it's just an amazing opportunity. And this is above and beyond what you would do within the hub that you are located. Here in St. Louis, they take everyone to a Cardinals game, or they take them to Forest Park and they plant trees. So there are lots of opportunities for our interns, and it really is an amazing program. I'll go ahead and touch really quickly on our hybrid situation. So we are a hybrid company. We do expect our employees in the office 3 times a week. We do not offer full-time remote. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now. But as long as you are located near one of our offices, you show up 3 days a week. That's all we ask. And if we go on to the next slide, you have an opportunity to follow this QR code. It will take you to our newsroom. You can learn more about MasterCard through our newsroom. At the very bottom of the slide, but I believe what will be shared in the chat, is our careers page. So you can take a look at that. And if you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to add them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them. And my next slide, I believe, is just my ending, and thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so very much, Katie. And we do have some time. If you have any questions for Katie, her awesome colleague, Carrie, has been in the chat furiously answering questions. So if you have any questions, we have about 10 minutes or so before we're going to be wrapping up the event. This is your time to ask the questions, or make sure that you are connecting with Katie and Carrie with the information that they shared. So we're going to go ahead and now transition to a little bit of Q&A. We do have some questions kind of in the queue ready to ask away. Let me go ahead and go for the first question. Let me grab him. So the question is from Jaden. So the question is, will some companies have supervisors who can help people with disabilities like high function autism, etc.? And we have wonderful Melanie. I'm looking through our faces on the bottom, who is happy to answer that question. Thanks, Melanie.
Of course. Thanks, Emily. And also thanks, Jaden, for asking this question. The answer is a wholehearted yes. We do have a pretty robust training program for all people managers of a variety of different levels. For example, if they are new to being a people manager, or if they are looking for additional resources to continue on that people management career path. So we have lots of resources to support them. And here at CrowdStrike, we also have a lot of really wonderful Slack communities where folks are also able to find some peer-to-peer support as well. So that honestly is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot of resources and support here at CrowdStrike. So to answer your question, yes.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Melanie. And we might see Melanie again with some questions that we have. I'm going to go ahead and pop you on down really quick. All right. So the next question is, this is going to be from Kyle. And the question is an awesome question and very relatable for everybody. How do you prove that you have soft skills? So we have a few folks who are going to join us. I'm going to bring on Katie as well as Melissa, who's going to share a little bit about the soft skills in their organizations.
That really is a great question. Soft skills, some of the things that we look for are attitude, aptitude, and authenticity. So when it comes to soft skills, especially for someone who's coming new into a corporate function, we totally understand that maybe not everybody has those skills. So we have training programs, actually training pathways created to help you with communication, with developing a strong writing style, or how to speak to executives. So we understand that not everybody has the soft skills right away, but how do you show them? I think it's within, have you had a leadership role at some point in a volunteer opportunity? That can show your leadership skills. Things like that make you stand out above and beyond.
I'll just add to what Katie said. I know you had some great skills that you mentioned. I would just add curiosity as another one that I know we look for when we're hiring at ISACA, and then we want to instill in our members as well. In terms of proving that you have the soft skills, I think evidence of ongoing training, whether it's LinkedIn courses, ISACA offers a ton of webinars, networking opportunities, getting involved with your chapter or your ISACA student group at your university. You could get, to Katie's point, volunteer experience that will help build that resume and give you some opportunity to practice also in a reasonably safe place before you kind of get put on the spot and are trying to manage a team at work. So just getting that experience and building that confidence will be good.
Fantastic answers. Thank you so very much, Katie and Melissa. All right, our next question is actually going to be about clearances. And this question is from Paul. Do you need specific clearances to be able to work these jobs? And Eddie, you're going to go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about clearances. So it's especially in the lab space and the DOE space, there's a lot of clearances that go around all over the place. I happen to have one. So a lot of the time you do not need a clearance to get into the job unless it's very specific, that it's like a very high level job they're already requiring, or you're transitioning from one clearance to another. Clearances are very specific to projects. So a lot of the time what occurs is that you may already be hired and may not have a clearance and may be put on a clearance related project. And then the process would start for you to get a clearance in order for you can convert to do that work. For example, I didn't have a clearance for years, and recently I got a clearance because I started project management for the AI group. So my clearance is specific for that project, so that once that project is over, unless I'm going to another project, my clearance would basically go into expiration. So a lot of the times, a lot of people get discouraged sometimes when they see may require a clearance. Most government agencies will put you for the process to get a clearance.
Thank you. That's very valuable information. Awesome, Eddie. Thank you so much. All righty. And our final question, since we are getting very close to the top of the hour, is from Anthony. And I kind of put our presenters on the spot in our private chat. This is probably going to be for almost everybody. When does internship hunting season typically start? I get the feeling most internships for summer are gone. So at this point, I'm reorienting myself for 2026 internships. And that is a great orientation, yes. We did have a recruiter pitch day in the fall talking about the summer internships for 2025. And so it's always kind of just looking ahead. And that's typically how the organizations work. If you think about all the work that they have to put into with getting students into those internships. So it's always good to look ahead. Don't feel disappointed that you might not be able to get something for 2025. It's all about the future and being prepared and getting on those applications when they're out and about. So we're going to go ahead and bring on Bella. Bella, take it away. And if anybody else would like to join, just let us know and we can pop you on as well. Thanks, Bella.
Thanks, Emily, and thanks, Anthony, for asking this question. It's a really good one. And Emily's spot on. Our recruiting cycle seasons are kind of funky for university recruiting. Roles really open up in like August, September, almost a year before interns actually start. This is to align with the university recruiting and career fair schedule. So if you're interested for a summer opening for summer 2026, I would start looking at career pages in August, September of this upcoming year. I saw another kind of related question on recent grads for internship openings. As a recent grad, you should really shift your focus then to full-time positions. Most companies don't hire recent grads for intern roles, honestly, because we're scared that you're going to find a full-time position and decline our offer at the end of the day, right? You're probably going to prefer a full-time role as opposed to a 10-week internship when push comes to shove after you've graduated. So that's a little bit about the timeline, and best of luck as you're entering recruiting season.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Bella. And yeah, those calendars are going to be a little bit wonky. Not every school follows the same exact calendar and the same for organizations. It's always a good practice to keep track. If you're interested in CrowdStrike, Tanium, ISACA, Department of Energy, MasterCard, put them in your cycle of things that you're checking on. Look at their websites. Keep in touch with folks through LinkedIn. It does take work, and you do have to make it almost like a hobby to look for opportunities. And that could be for scholarships, for internships, for entry-level roles. There is some work involved, but these folks that presented today do their very best to make it efficient and easy and also worthwhile. So before we go, I would like to just bring everybody else on stage just really quick. I want to just have a goodbye with everybody. I'm going to grab you on here if you happen to still be with us. I think I'm missing somebody. Where's my friend? I think we're on here. I think we're all here. I wanted to thank everybody so very much for sharing and for giving such wonderful advice. For all of you audience members, thank you so much for your questions and for hanging in with us. We'll go ahead and make sure you have the recording as well as the resources the next few days. And we wish you all a fantastic spring competition season. The NCL competition is opening very, very soon. We wish you the very best of luck. And the whole point of what we do is to get students into cyber careers. So hopefully you found this to be valuable. And thank you once again for everyone who joined us as presenters. They are very busy individuals doing so many wonderful things in the cyber community. And thank you for shining your light on us. So thank you, everyone. Take care, and we will see you very, very soon.